Hello and welcome to Zigwheels, and we are here today with the Tata Curve concept, and more importantly we are here with Martin Ulrich, who is of course head of global design for Tata Motors, which means this is coming right off of his desk. So Martin, we are hoping that you can throw more light on this for us and show us what are your favorite bits on the Curve, right?
Yeah, so obviously the first thing that we did, is the overall theme. So it's a coupe on an SUV that happens to be EV. And I think that's already a pretty comprehensive and compelling cocktail.
Right.
So the biggest challenge, if you have to start, was getting the proportion right. So to get this to look sleek and as athletic as possible, but actually maintain the functionality. The headroom in the rear, the egress, egress. So what design did, and that's why we say different by design, is we actually forced the wheelbase to be extended. That was not the original intent because it didn't work proportionally. It's really important to get this wheel in the right position to make this work. And that's really the DNA of what this product is.
Before we go further in terms of the design, I think a key question a lot of people will be wondering is, Tata Motors is now known for taking concepts and bringing them into production as is. So how much of this would you say is?
I would say 97%. We have the production car in our design studio. And if you park them next to each other, the gap is extremely small. So we're really looking forward to delivering on the promise that you see here.
97%, just to stress on that once again. And I know the name is Curve, but I still see a lot of muscularity in the design. Like if I'm looking up here to the way the roofline, it's a nice, you could have made it slimmer visually, but there's obviously a sense of chunkiness. Is there a balance?
Yeah, I think one of the pillars that our company has is safety as well. So we want to create something that's athletic, dynamic, sporty. At the same time, you want to communicate from a design point of view that feeling of security, and of course that's a backbone of our brand.
All right. This is also a showcase of what Tata designs are going towards, right?
That's right, that's right.
Could we get, I can see some familiar bits, like if I look at the window line, the way it's rising,
Sure.
that's something I can recognize, but what would be the really new bits?
It's influenced by digital design. Now, what does that mean? So we're going from an analog process to a digital process as designers, the way we work. But at the same time, our products, this is an EV lead product. And on the interior, we're really putting an emphasis on the interface. But when you look at a styling point of view, it's the surfacing. So this surfacing, what we've done is we've reduced the amount of lines. You only have the shoulder and then you have the wheel arches. Everything else is very clean. And that's really communicating a timelessness, a less is more, and that's what I call digital design. So we develop these surfaces on a CAD system, on a surfacing system, and then we mill it out, and of course we develop it. But it creates a very unique aesthetic, which I think is just right for this evolution. And you'll see that now accelerate in our next several launches.
I see some manufacturing complexity right here.
Yeah, of course. We're always making engineering sweat.
So is this a battle you won?
Yes, aerodynamics, as an EV first, aerodynamic and efficiency is a storyline. So actually having a floating C-pillar, the fact that the back end is, quite squared off. Right. We have a number of air features. Yeah. That's all actually been done through wind tunnels, and it's, been developed, throughout the development of this product, the spoilers and everything. So none of it is superficial. All of it does perform. And of course it communicates a very, efficient and aerodynamic product.
And why the decision to go coupe?
Yeah,
I think I know it makes a statement, but from a market standpoint, don't you think a more traditional boxy form would be the easier sell?
I think, if you see the core of our product portfolio is SUVs and crossovers. That's really the thing. And in the market, SUVs are now the mainstream. Right. So we're looking at new spaces where we can expand the market, where we can become leaders, and where we can develop into white space areas. And of course, making a sporty SUV is a sort of untapped territory. So we're pretty confident that as we develop this product goes into the market, that territory will expand and we'll be leaders in it.
Okay, now this is going to be all new in that sense.
That's right.
So is the lighting element the new highlight, so to speak, in terms of identifying Tatas?
Yes. So this will become the signature for all of our EV products going forward, which is this horizontal DRL light guide, which has an animated sequence, and you'll see that not only on this product, but on all our subsequent EV products. Okay. And then, of course, there's the fluting. This level of detailing, which is, again, it communicates an electric and digital product.
This is, again, EV specific?
Yes.
Okay.
But overall, the architecture, you know, the overall feeling, everything is designed from a front and rear view to be as wide as possible. We want the car to look one class bigger and feel one class bigger.
Okay. And for the ICE versions, how different would this space be? Because
this will be on the ICE version. It'll have obviously a different front end. At the same time, it needs to perform from a cooling point of view because of the ICE engine. But at the same time, it'll be just as progressive as this design.
And if I may go into the history of this, how long back did this project start?
I would say about 18 months ago, we started on this. First sketch, first initial. And at the time, we were in the middle of the pandemic, like everybody. So, you know, we have 3 design studios, but at the time, we actually had 140 studios because everybody was working from home. So that was quite a logistical challenge. But in the end, you know, the good design, you know, we'd had a number of sketches come from all of the studios. Right. And ultimately, you know, when you see that one magic sketch, you know that's the one. And you know, of course, we developed it through a team and with obviously all the engineering functions together.
Why are we seeing the curve right now? I mean, what's with the timing of the curve?
Yeah, I think it was important that we, you know, claim the space for this segment, a SUV coupe, and at the same time, the timing was just right to introduce, you know, some of the new language that we'll be introducing in the next subsequent models.
So we'll be seeing some new facelifts, which will.
There'll be a number of, you know, products that we introduce over the next couple of months and years, and of course, you'll then start connecting the dots, and you'll see this is the first of a next generation of products in terms of its aesthetic and language and so forth.
Okay. 2 last questions before we wrap this up. The exterior you said is 97%.
On the interior, it's the same. The interior, we're really looking at, you know, getting as much of the feel of this into production as possible. That's where the real challenge is. But, you know, again, you know, the steering wheel is a preview of our production steering wheel, which
this has a retro vibe to it.
A retro in a good way.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's bad. Retro in a good way. Yeah.
Again, you know, with that, what we're looking at is, you know, creating an interface with the vehicle in a sort of digital communication way. So the steering wheel
you could
now
have a screen on there.
Yeah, the steering wheel has no logo, and when you turn the car on, the logo will appear. So the T logo will now appear, you know, from a backlit. And all of the switches are a touch now on a solid surface. You can see with the HVAC switches, that is also a preview of our next generation. So that will go into production. So no longer will you have actual analog switches, it will be actually a touch interface, just like the main screens on the IP.
And in terms of the architecture, we see it's a flat floor here, so it will continue to be that because it's an EV.
It'll do that for the EV, and of course with the ICE, we'll go, you know, it'll have to have a standard gear shift and it'll have a tunnel. And that'll be one of the differentiating aspects of the interiors between the 2 variants.
Okay. Finally, we saw the Sierra concept at the Expo, which was roughly in the same space where this is. And this is going to be coming above the Nexon, so going up against the likes of the Creta, the Seltos, and basically under the Harrier.
That's right.
So we had seen the Sierra concept, which was kind of aiming for the same space.
Yes.
So what's happened to that? And this is going EV first. Why EV first?
Because we see actually, you know, we're a leader in the EV market. And we see EV as becoming the mainstream. You know, over the life cycle of this product, EV will become the mainstream in this segment and in this market. So I think it's very important that we start introducing it as an EV-focused first type product. And as far as the Sierra, I mean, watch this space.
And any hints on what the final name could be?
For this car?
Yeah.
This Curve.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. I don't see the reason why we would introduce a name like that without, you know, already being pretty confident.
Oh, nice. All right. So there you know, it will be called the Curve even when it goes on sale in a couple of years of time.
2 years
And,
from what the boss says.
At the most, yeah. And we should expect excitement even on the inside when we see the Curve in production form. Thanks so much,
All
Martin.
right. Thanks a lot. Good to see you again.
And thanks for showing us around.
Thanks.